Yes, welcome back. You're still watching Power Breakfast right here on Citizen TV, and time now for us to talk some politics. And let's start off with Nairobi politics. The scramble for Jubilee Party's ticket in the Nairobi governor's contest continues to ignite political fireworks, with Water Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa yet again facing opposition from youth ally to Senator Mike Sonko. Wamalwa was accompanied by former Starehe MP Bishop Margaret Wanjiru. Another contender for the position was forced to cut short his speech as youth shouted him down. Elsewhere in Kisii region, the Orange Democratic Movement Party has embarked on a process of consolidating one of its strongholds that is on the Jubilee's party's radar. This report by Francis Gashuri.
The Water Cabinet Secretary, who is eyeing the Nairobi governor's seat in next year's contest, had graced the PCA Sports Tournament at City Stadium, accompanied by former Starehe lawmaker Bishop Margaret Wanjiru and Nairobi woman representative Rachel Shebesh. But less than 24 hours after his meeting in Dandora was invaded by youth supporting Senator Mike Sonko in his governor's bid, Wamalwa faced hostility, with youth shouting him down. His speech drowned in jeers shortly after Wanjiru, who is presumed to be his running mate in the battle for City Hall, had made her remarks.
Mambo ya kusema running mate, sijui nani, mimi ninaania, Sonko anaania, Waweru anaania, Wamalwa anaania, watu wote tuko watu kama sita.
Leo vijana wetu tukiwa na mama wetu Bishop Margaret Wanjiru tumesema tuje hapa tusimame na vijana wetu.
Wamalwa was forced to exit City Stadium in a half, with his plunge into city politics continuing to trigger political fireworks. Attempts to bring together Jubilee aspirants in Nairobi governor's contest hit a snag on Friday after Sonko, Dagoretti South lawmaker Dennis Waweru, and nominated Member of Parliament Johnson Sakaja snubbed the meeting convened by Starehe MP Maina Kamanda. And as the Jubilee team deals with the Nairobi governor's headache, the Orange Party leadership was in Kisii County to consolidate one of its stronghold that is on the ruling coalition's radar. Jubilee has been on a charm offensive with an eye on a chunk of the region's 600,000 plus votes in next year's general election.
Juu watu wawili watatu hawezi kuweka chama, kuweka chama ni kama wamekeji party. Party belongs to wananchi. Party does not belong to leaders.
Singetaka kuona tumefika wakati ambao tunaonekana tuna yumba, tusiyumba.
Yes, you see there, CS Eugene Wamalwa in such a position. And surely, how is it watching a sitting CS still in office, going through this political drama, surely, Bwana Kaluma?
This is ultimate and utmost impunity. Because you see, if he wants to play politics, he should leave. And you remember when they were being appointed, the president did indicate that only him and the deputy are allowed by the constitution to engage in a bit of politics. The idea that you are a CS campaigning, of course, is an abuse of office in the sense that you are also, using the resources of that office. The leverage that is a CS standing somewhere gives him a platform that other competitors necessarily do not have. And you've seen him using government vehicles, doing personal things, distracted completely from, the services he should be offering us. So this is indiscipline. This is not just indiscipline. It is want of integrity. It is not operating according to Chapter 6 of the Constitution. But it is the biggest waste of time. Fred, I said here last time that I think the gods have conspired in favor of Evans Kidero. And I did tell you that Wamalwa is a stranger to Nairobi. This gentleman has no spine. You go as a whole CS with government leverage, you are being chased from venues all over. I remember when he was in Parliament, somebody said it's wobbly. This has collapsed. And I think we are waiting for, Marende to collapse. My brother disagrees with me that Kidero is going back. But I can tell you, if these are the kind of candidates Jubilee Party has, wake up on 9th of August 2017 to be informed he's been re-elected. There is no competition here.
Yes. Bwana Manje, is it a case of Jogo wa mjini wa kijijini akija mjini?
I tend to think maybe he's not seeing what is happening in Nairobi. It's only that many people have seen there is emptiness in the governorship of Nairobi. The hawkers are coming back to Nairobi. You see, Kidero inherited a very good city that was taken up, but today if you go up maybe to Vigilance House, you'll get hawkers down, putting vias and all that. So many people have realized this is an empty seat that we have to get. But having said that, if Jubilee is organized and they sponsor one person, definitely Kidero will go home very early in the morning, because that is
but do we see that happening? You've just seen there are already 6, and Bishop Margaret Wanjiru just declared, because there was talk of a combination, maybe the CS Eugene Wamalwa and Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, but she's come out and said that talk of me being a running mate. No,
let me say, this is just the organization. Everybody wants to be relevant at the end of the day. You know, before you are picked, you have to show your relevance and your impact on the ground. So they are giving themselves now a chance to go round, but they cannot undermine Wamalwa. All right, this is somebody who has found an opportunity. He's acceptable. This is a gentleman who is a friend to the status quo. He's a friend to the president of this country. He's a friend to the deputy of this country. They were together when they were making TNA, because I remember when I was trying to get the seat of Kajiado North immediately after the death of Professor George Saitoti, he came also in Hadi to campaign for TNA, meaning it's somebody who has been in the system until that particular time. I don't know why he did not belong to the Jubilee from the word go. So he's somebody who is acceptable. In my constituency, he was there last week, by the way. And he is really acceptable. He's somebody who can easily sell to the voters. And you know, there are so many voters who are from my constituency. They come to Nairobi, they are voters here, but they reside in my constituency. So if, for example, we tell them this is a candidate we see can work with our president, what is wrong with that?
Yes, you are from Nairobi, wewe ni kijana wa Nairobi. Jogoo wa mjini, jogoo wa kijijini. Because Bishop Margaret Wanjiru spoke and she wasn't booed. Immediately after her speech, the CS comes and mayhem.
I think the CS needs to understand the political terrain in Nairobi. You know very well how Nairobi works. So he will understand slowly. He is being initiated in the politics of Nairobi, and slowly he will get to understand.
Saruto man.
I can tell you for a fact, Kidera was also a Jogo from Mashambani, but he understood the process. Now he's quite understanding of the terrain. But let me say this, because I've already started seeing a number of things. Number one is that we needed to, the way we are doing our politics is not right. This violence we are seeing really is not helping anybody. Let people sell what they stand for. It is important for you to listen to whoever is coming, whether ni Jogo wa Mata, wa Nairobi, wa wapi. Listen, let's allow people to sell their vision. However, again, let's do it within the law. A sitting CS cannot be seen to be campaigning. I think the fact that there was talk that he was running for governor was an okay thing. But now if you're seeing, last Friday they were in Dandora, when Sonko again stormed their meeting. Again, yesterday they were in City Stadium. So, really, I think we need to get somebody to do a petition in Parliament so that the CS can actually be removed from office. So that if he wants to run, then really let him leave the office now. Because the law is very clear. You cannot be seen to be campaigning using state resources, and yet you're supposed to be giving services to the people. So I hope somebody will present a petition to Parliament so that if he wants to run for governor and he wants to start campaigns this early, then he should actually exit office. And the other thing, as regards Jubilee, you know, every Monday we discuss the governor's position, and every Monday we do a special mention of Jubilee as a party as regards governorship. Now that in itself is a clear indication that as Kaluma says that would give Kidero a win, we don't discuss Kidero. We discuss the Jubilee ticket. If I were a CORD person, I would be very worried because you can see, including Kaluma, who has to iron his shirt every morning to come and discuss Nairobi politics and Jubilee. And in politics, that is extremely important, being on the lips of people on a daily basis, every Monday. So, Kaluma, I would be worried.
I give a reason.
Yes.
The fact that you see so many people running to vie on a Jubilee ticket, it just shows that CORD will not win Nairobi this time. Otherwise, if every politician would have noted that CORD is the party to beat here in Nairobi, everyone will be flocking there. It's still open. But you see, every person, that is Wamalwa, that is Waweru, Wanjiru, we have now the former Speaker Marende, everyone is running to Jubilee, Sonko. So it shows that indeed this seat will be won, hands down by Jubilee this time. Number two, it's very clear to each and every Nairobian that Kidero has mismanaged Nairobi. When you look at the health sector, for instance, it has collapsed. There's no health center in Nairobi which is working. No wonder everyone is flocking to Kenyatta National Hospital, which is supposed to be a referral hospital, but it's now dealing with primary health care. When you look infrastructure, I do not know of any single road that has been built by the city government, as opposed to the national government, which is building new roads all over Nairobi, whereas the primary role of building roads is the city government. When you look at all other indicators, in terms of cleanliness, in terms of anything, call it, including house planning, we don't even have any new housing scheme. In fact, I would congratulate the government of Mombasa. I think they have an idea, they want to do some upgrading of some houses. Here in Nairobi, we don't even have one single new public housing scheme that Mr. Kidero is talking about. Whereas Mombasa, I think they are almost there to build some new housing for the people. So the point is, these guys are going to face this election. Now, to answer your question as to what is happening in Jubilee, two things are happening. Number one, it is very clear that it makes sense for us to support Wamalo as opposed to any other person. Because if we support Wamalo, we may break into the Luya vote. What is the evidence? Look what happened with the MP for Kamukunji. When we embraced him in that seat for Kamukunji, Mr. Hassan, we were able to break into Northeastern vote. So same rationale then means...
Wouldn't you say the same then therefore for the former Speaker of the National Assembly?
Well, I agree. Either of them, if we embrace them, there is every likelihood we may break into
But one is a preferred project?
No, either of them, by the way, from where I see it, we may have what we call the Yusuf moment in the Western region, because Yusuf helped us to break into Northeastern. But then again, on the other hand, this guy called Sonko, he represents some new brand of politics which appear to be shaping Kenyan politics today. He appears to be doing what Duterte has done in Philippines, what Trump has done in America, what Widodo has done in Indonesia, where people appear not to be shifting to more unconventional politicians. These politicians who wear suits, they appear to be...
You still support Trump, by the way. You haven't
No, my point is, I think Sonko is a very strong politician, despite all, notwithstanding his being quite unconventional. And to that extent, I think we must answer that question. It appears there's a shift, not only in Kenya, worldwide, where people want more unconventional politicians, as opposed to the so-called conventional
Kaluma, this is your chance to defend your candidate.
Fred, no, he has failed. He has failed.
Let me tell you, Nairobi governorship is not a small thing. It is a very huge thing. I think only second to the presidency. And Andweke put it very well here last time. Really, you're a governor of Nairobi, unless you don't have high ambitions. You can go very far depending on how you do your things around. So as CORD, we take it very seriously. And why we are not bothered much is that we have an incumbent. It is what they are talking in Jubilee, saying, oh, we don't have a problem in Jubilee because we have an incumbent before the presidency. Yes, so we are not bothered in CORD because we have a sitting incumbent. That unless things are so bad, there is no that hurry to change, because
now they're saying things are very bad.
The systems are working. Fred, if you see the battle in Jubilee, and let us look at the problem in the face, it is a tussle between the deputy president and the president. there is a disquiet. If you've been seeing the journeys the president has been moving, has been doing across the country, he does not do them alone. He does them with the deputy president. And invariably, the deputy president is required only to, make one sentence. Like an handkerchief is removed from the pocket to say, 2017 is Uhuru Kenyatta, I'll be 2022. He's being required to commit, recommit, commit and recommit in public every time, so that it becomes untenable for him to part ways. So the tension you are seeing in Nairobi, let me tell you, is that underlying, tension in Jubilee. You remember, this person called Eugene Wamalwa is not Uhuru Kenyatta protege. He's a Ruto protege. Uhuru Kenyatta has his views on Sonko and of course the central Kenya ruling Nairobi. So Ruto is giving conditions here which he's not telling you in public, that you will have to give me the governorship for Nairobi if I have to continue the support. And really, this is the tension you see playing around. And that is why you hear this. Eugene Wamalwa is a Ruto guy, not Uhuru Kenyatta. And you should be very, very careful when you mention it, because you may diminish your chances of coming back. So that is the tension. Now, in terms of the performance of Kidero, let us be fair to the governors. And I think this is something I've said times without number. We must have a system of national government that is supportive of the county government. Fred, we have a budget of 2.3 trillion in the country. How much goes to the 47 county governments? And these are governments. I mean, barely 2.9 billion. It was 280 billion, 284 billion. What is the national government then doing with the over 2 trillion? And remember, when we are sending a mere 280 billion to be shared among the 47 county governments, all the livelihood, all the life supporting systems have been devolved, from health to agriculture to ECD to all the roads other than the national trunk roads, the markets, water, street lighting and everything. So before we condemn Kidero and question whether the health facilities are working, let us ask ourselves first as members of parliament, more so in the National Assembly, why are we still sending over 100 billion to the Ministry of Health when the core health function is devolved? Can we enable people like Kidero and of course all the other governors across the country to do the work they should be doing? Fred, you saw what was at Moi Teaching and Referral Facility the other day. You want to use over 17 billion to renovate, not to build a new hospital. Yet Mama Lucy Hospital across here was built at, barely 500 million shillings. Why don't you have, hospitals like Mama Lucy in each and every county at that 500 million, and you employ doctors at the national level to run them? I mean, you saw the situation in Migori that day, that young child who was playing at Migori Boys was shot in the eye by a stray bullet. No facility in Migori, no facility in Homa Bay, no facility in Kisii, no facility in Nyamira could aid her until she went to, Moi Teaching and Referral Facility. And this is why I'm telling you, anybody thinking the Jubilee government has a chance of coming back has not read the story of Gabon. I mean, this is a one-term presidency, and it is so gone.
We agree. Let me disagree with him, and also let me tell him there is no discord between the president and the deputy president. These are two people who have a very good chemistry. They have been together for this. They were brought together because of the situation that was in the country. They said, hi guys, why don't you come? And I come. We make sure that at least we unify this country. You see, that one still stands today. And I've witnessed that as people who are also TNA members and close to Uhuru Kenyatta. If we go to him for maybe something, he will tell us, go to the deputy. You see, these are people who have really accepted that they'll work together. And also tell him, if he look world over, he will find that most of the corporate body would like continuity. There is no doubt that Jubilee will win next election, because many people would like that continuity. And there is no president in Africa who had been a one-term president, not even in Africa, in the whole world, if you read the history of politics very well. And this government has really performed. You see, that performance, it is very visible. If you go to any county, you have seen money has been devolved. It's only that at the county level, we did not have very good structures. Just the way the Kenya government started those times, 1963, is the way the county governments are starting today, without very good structures of the ground to control the fund going to the ground. Otherwise, the money is on the ground. It is being felt in every county in this country. Go to Wajir today, you will see what the governor of Wajir has done. Go to Kisumu today, you will see what he has done. Go to Siaya County today, you will see what the governor has done. Meaning this is the money that has gone to the ground. All right? If we can see this from the positive perspective, we say this year, 3 years, the government has devolved fund. Then we put good structures through the audit control to make sure that we follow the money properly. Because that is where the problem is. Privilege, money getting lost at the county level. That is the starting point. Then we make sure that we don't decentralize the Kenyan resources without good structures, because that is where the problem. And we have been. Is that where Nairobi has failed? Is that why Nairobi has failed?
Can I explain why it has failed? If you're a governor of Wajir or Turkana or Tana River, it is true, for you probably you'll be waiting for manna from Nairobi in terms of allocation by the national government. But a Nairobi governor waiting for money from the central government, that's the most lazy governor you can ever imagine. Because Nairobi has a lot of potential to make a lot of money. Why? One, we look at the portfolio of the debts, the people owing the state government money. In terms of the land rates, it is a bill which is going almost to $1 trillion. The people who should be paying the state government money in terms of the land rates, in terms of the businesses, the taxes which they collect from the business people, it's a lot of money. In terms of parking, there's a lot of potential for a government or a governor of Nairobi to make a lot of money without even asking a shilling from it. In any event, the Nairobi governor has the power to negotiate directly with another city and get a loan. I think there was a law which was saying they need to get some consent from the national government. That now has been amended. They can directly negotiate with a development partner to fund their operations in Nairobi. And also, look also in terms of the expenditure. Where do they take their money? Look at their salaries. How much do they pay to salary? How much do they pay to what we call ghost suppliers? It's a lot of wastages. Kidero has been unable to cut. I can tell you, he's just a lazy governor. Before you respond, because we want to wind up, any other to add to that before you respond?
I think, in all fairness, I would agree with the Honorable Kaluma on a lot of things he has said, including the issue of the percentage that is going to the counties. But, you know, that's the problem. Kaluma comes from Homa Bay. He does not understand a lot of things in Nairobi. For instance, you know, the allocation in Nairobi, what comes from the national government is barely 20%. So it is one of, and I agree with him when he says Nairobi is not a joke. It is a serious issue. If you look at the next budget, we're looking at a whooping 30 billion Kenya shillings. And look here, our governor was working very well with the president. You remember even there was an issue between CORD supporters when he said he is working well with the president. So he's been working very well with the president. He has been collecting taxes very well. Now he's introduced a system where money is not being lost. Now, what we want to hear is that what has he done for the people of Nairobi? And I can tell you, unless they're poor at communicating, I am yet to see. So, let's be honest. Do not try. Nairobi is a special county. That is why it's called the Nairobi City County. It is not Homa Bay County where we come from, where you really have to struggle in order to get more money other than from the national government. So, and I want to talk to my brother, because I know Kidero is his uncle. Please talk to your uncle. You guys need to tell people what has happened.
You see, Fred, this is the weakness as if you don't have points. You then begin saying that your opponents in a debate are taking their positions because of relationship. Yeah, but let me on. You know, in Luland there is a time they were asking the Prime Minister whether he's related to Obama. We are of course all related. We are but Kidero is a sober like him. Of course, I'm a Luo. I don't know what they're talking about. We come from Homa Bay County. We are the only county, of course, with 2 governors in Kenya, and we are very proud of that. And it is something we want to sustain. 3 conceptual issues that we need to correct. One, Honorable Manje is saying that the government is giving the counties too much money. You know, Fred, I saw Kiunjuri talking about the successes of devolution as if they were successes of the national government. The Constitution says we have one national government and a government in each county. And then these levels of governments are distinct, they are separate, they only work by mutual cooperation. In fact, let me put it to the nation that there is no single coin the government of Uhuru Kenyatta gives the county governments. It is us in the National Assembly who share the national revenue between the national government and the county governments. And we give the share for the county governments to the senators to share among them. So let us, stop this misconception that really the government of President Uhuru Kenyatta has any money to give. If the counties are starved in the manner they are, then it is because Kangata and I in the National Assembly are failing in the manner we've been failing because of their, that tyranny of number thing. Number 2, let us forget about this issue that, every collection by a county government is for their immediate use. In fact, I'm shocked all of them here are encouraging corruption. The County Government Act requires that all revenues collected by all the 47 county governments are remitted to the national kitty. And what we should be talking about as leaders is, if Nairobi County has the opportunity to collect so much, how do we secure that so much goes to the national revenue so that ultimately they are shared? It is not for Kidero to sit somewhere and say, I have so much from, parking charges, I have so much from land rates, let me use it as I will. So that is a misconception which we should also eradicate. But the last misconception here is that the governor sits somewhere to determine development, execute them at will. Remember, Fred, the county assembly is to the county governments what the National Assembly is to the national government. Once the senators send money to each of the counties, it is, the members of county assembly who sit down, budget on projects, and later oversight to confirm those budgets were executed. We made a mistake as the people of Kenya when we went into 2013 elections. When we were electing MCAs, we were thinking we were electing councillors. So you have, like in a county I will not mention for good reasons, MCAs saying we cannot take so much money into health because health is in the body of people, they don't see it. Instead, let me do a road so that I may be voted back. We need, as we approach the next elections, to know being a member of county assembly is serious business and have visionary, intelligent, competent leadership at that level to program the developments. In fact, a governor can say so much, like the governor of Nairobi. You've seen the frustrations that have been going around during the last budget. County assembly members saying we must get this money or we are not passing budget. So they can only say much about budgeting. Now, I think that one, Brian, agrees.
Because of time we have to come to a close, but I'll give each one of you a brief opportunity to wind up, very brief because our time is up. But there are 2 issues here. Ruto's game plan for 2017, and apparently they're saying he's keeping his eye on the prize 2022 without Central Kenya. Yes? The DP is determined to establish his personal, powerful and far-flung network that will propel him to power without depending on Central Kenya. That is one thing. The other one is about what is happening in court. Yes? And the talk of a super coalition. Of course, it's there on the Standard. They talk about CORD likely to name its flag bearer for 2017 early next year because apparently there's still talk with Mudavadi, with Gideon Moi and all these others. So yes, as we wind up those 2 issues briefly, whichever you choose, you don't have to comment on all. We'll start with Ibn Kangata.
The flag bearer of CORD is known, it's Raila Odinga. I think the other day was just met and was declared the flag bearer of CORD. I think to me that is settled. It's a done deal. So we wait for Raila. Of course we shall win with a super majority. That's number 1. But of course we are ready for the worst case scenario. They bring any other person, we shall just win. On Ruto, The fact is, we, the people of Central Kenya, we are going to support him because, by the way, he has come directly to quotas, as opposed to those other guys who are waiting for a Tosha declaration from our so-called Kikuyu kingpin. Him is become one of us, and on that account, we shall support him. The only point is, he must know which is now the county to look upon in Central Kenya.
Which is?
Murang'a. Is the county to watch next time.
I think key things. One is just to respond to my good brother Kaluma. Because when Kaluma sits on national TV, a national TV of this magnitude, and tells Kenyans that because the governor has not been able to deliver, let us blame it on the county assembly. So in the same breath, if the president fails to deliver, should we also fault the National Assembly? And I can tell you that is not the answer. That is
no, we should be faulted.
No. He is the head of the executive. The president has majority. The county government of Nairobi has majority in the county assembly. So you cannot say that your plans have been inhibited because you do not have majority. So really, my brother, so should we blame you and say, okay, Uhuru Kenyatta is a good man, let's re-elect him? The problem, let's change the county, the National Assembly. I can tell you that is not the answer. The president is the head of executive. The governor is the head of executive in the county, and we have to hold him accountable in that regard. Now, as regards the deputy president, no, I was just responding to my brother. As regards the deputy president, let me tell you, as I've told you, in the next few months, you will see a lot of discussions within CORD, and I've seen they're coming up with a super coalition. Now, that super coalition, you have to look at it keenly. Other than the current principles, we will look at bringing in Musalia Mudavadi, you look at bringing in Gideon Moi, look at bringing in Isaac Ruto. So the DP should be very worried. Because, and this is something I've asked in other quarters, what if the super, I hear Kangata saying that Raila is the outright candidate. Again, that's a serious misconception. When you're bringing in people, then people have to have a discussion and agree on what the arrangement will be. What if they decide today that Gideon Moi is a presidential candidate? Then the DP, actually, there are only two options. He will be thrown out by the president as his deputy because he's not bringing anything. Because if today, I can tell you for a fact, the court decides that Gideon Moi is a presidential candidate, and they go to Rift Valley and they ask them one question, 2017 or 2022, do you want the real deal or number two? So either the deputy president has to run for president in 2017 or and definitely Uhuru Kenyatta has to replace him with somebody else because he will not be bringing anything on the table. So politics is still early in the Moli. It is still early in the day to purport that you'll be waiting for the central support come 2017. And I'm happy that the DP clearly has seen you have to have a plan B. Murang'a will be a problem.
That's true. Let me say, when it comes to super coalition, they're talking about super party. What it can only do is maybe to complicate Jubilee a bit. If the same person runs, all right, the Jubilee will win very early in the morning because the game will repeat. There is nothing that has changed, all right? So most likely, CORD will bring somebody like Musalia Mudavadi or Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. That one will just make the work of Jubilee a bit harder, but at the end of the day, they will win because of what I said, the continuity of the Kenyans. That is true. When it comes to the DP after the 27, what I can advise as a country, and this one I got it when my predecessor died, Professor Joseph Tutu, who I inherited his constituency. 8 months to election, he thought he would be the president of this country. It did not happen. So you cannot plan 7, 10 years. All right, let us plan for this year. The next term will just work itself out, because at the end of the day, politics are very dynamic and things keep on changing. The main idea is everybody has seen what Ruto has done in this, and he's everywhere in the country. He has really worked to make sure that at least the country is unified, and don't think it's a simple work. This is a machine. He's working throughout the country. You will see him in Mombasa, Ram, Western, everywhere throughout. And before you get that kind of stamina to work, you're somebody very good, and also he's very intelligent. So we in for him. He's doing a good job. Let him continue.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Finally, Bwana Kaluma.
At independence, Jaramogi said no independence without Jomo Kenyatta. And Jomo Kenyatta went ahead and became president. 3 years later, Jaramogi was kicked out. In 2002, for the opposition to kick out the KANU regime we had been fighting to kick out, Raila Odinga said Kibaki tosha at Uhuru Park. I was at the rally. In 2005, 3 years later, he was kicked out. In 2007, Raila Odinga beat Mwai Kibaki. For Kibaki to be in power, Kalonzo assisted. Barely 3 years later, Kalonzo was thrown out. So personally, I'm happy that it has come to the realization of William Ruto that you cannot bank on Central Kenya. These guys have never voted for anybody who is not from Central Kenya, and there is nothing so special about Ruto to get it. So let Ruto campaign. Unfortunately for him, he has antagonized any other person who would make him president if he still entertains that ambition. He's gone across the country abusing every community, every leader who would stand with him. So his goose is cooked. Like the former vice president, Ruto will never be the president of Kenya. But for CORD, we are very happy. Corruption and negative ethnicity, the thing is dropped. We are moving forward.
Oh, the super coalition?
No, it will come. It will come, and we are not in a hurry. We will identify and announce our presidential candidate 3 months to election.
No, the elders have stated.
Let them not worry about it.
Okay, yes, thank you so much. That was Bwana Peter Kaluma, Member of Parliament for Homa Bay. Next to him, Joseph Manje, MP Kajiado North. Of course, Brian Weke, CEO, Institute for Education and Democracy, and Irungu Kangata, Member of Parliament for Kiharu, helping us look into the headlines this morning and probably setting the agenda for the rest of the week. Remember, Power Breakfast still continues. Use the hashtag Power Breakfast on Citizen TV. We're still on.